so that was a goal for this collection, was like lean even further into that potential freedom. And the so the title of the show, The Edge of Ourselves, came from this idea that, um, well, backing up, when I do a collection, I like to have an idea that kind of like anchors me. And even if not every painting kind of refers back to the idea, it's kind of like an underlying inspiration for my own kind of like mental and creative energy. So one thing I love about abstract art is the language lessness of it. Like there's no words, but I happen to love words because I love fiction, I love nonfiction, I love reading. So it's like I love language. So it's fun to have like language be an inspiration to this languageless thing. So I had noticed that I always kept hearing phrases referring to edges in all kinds of like categories of life. So like um, the edge of unknowing, or the edge of the unknown, the front edge of technology, the uh, referring to ourselves as I'm feeling edgy today, or kind of like the emotional aspects of edge. So if you want to be very boundaried and protected, and you will have maybe a hard edge to yourself. If you are like a very like gentle, warm, um, intimate type person, that I think of like soft edges. And so I think I was liking the idea that we all are kind of this like composition of edges. We have edges of countries, we have edges of our city, of our houses, our cars. Like we're constantly interacting with these edges in our heads and in our own physical body. Like where do I stop and where do you start? If we were like touching, like our cells are intermingling when we're all even in this room together. So so I like the idea of like a abstract painting being a composition of edges, kind of like reflecting that reality. So so down to the practical level of painting edges, a goal was to be kind of like focusing on shape, where in the past I was more kind of like flowy with the work. And so I wanted each shape to kind of have an intentional edge to it, whether it be like a really soft, kind of like feathered out edge using like a poofy brush, or maybe like a hard edge with a palette knife. So I think like that painting is a good example right there, because it has some palette knife work where that palette knife just like lays down a nice clean edge, and then it has that brush stroke that's kind of wavy on the right. That I mean, I'm obsessed with brushstroke, like visible brushstrokes in work, because they just create interesting edges, and then just the different lines, all of it kind of is creating a composition with different edges. So let's see. Another goal I had, this kind of relates to like giving myself the freedom to let each painting be its own thing, was to explore figurative work and not worry about if like all the pieces were figurative. I could just have a couple one-off things and that's like fine. So like those two have profiles in them, and then a couple pieces like that big one and then that big one back there have kind of like very subtle figurative references. That little one with the purple and the green, that one's like an actual abstracted picture of like my torso. So that one was different. I've never done that before, like abstracting a picture of a human. I don't think I had done that before. So that was like a really fun challenge. And then also, so there's like kind of some figurative, and then there's some kind of where they're just more shapes, almost like looking down on a map or something, or like an aerial photograph looking down on the ground. And then those, still kind of the play with different edges, that kind of thing. So, so yeah, and then I guess just in closing, before questions, like I think the inspiring thing for me is like when we push to those edges, like when I push myself creatively and to push to the edges of my freedom or creative freedom, and when we push to like be better humans, to like dissolve our edges, to like have better relationships with each other, that's like where breakthrough happens. Like, and I like the idea of like breakthrough is like literally breaking through an edge, and so that's what I'll leave you with, that idea. Yeah, so any questions? I'm not sure that I actually like the square more than like a rectangle, but maybe I do. Maybe I do, but I don't know. Because sometimes I really enjoy the rectangle because it feels like there's more space in it in a sense. But yeah, I just enjoy both, I think. I feel like color is one of the things that I spend a lot of energy on, trying to get the color. And it is really intuitive, because I will not like it. I there's a lot of colors I don't like, even though I have so many colors. So I feel like I spend a lot of time getting a color to the where I like it, So, and I do feel like there are certain colors that are go-to ones for me that maybe will be for a long time, but then maybe not. Like the burnt sienna, I like constantly use the burnt sienna. And then greens I was obsessed with for this show, but I'm not sure how long I've used greens. I don't know. But so, and then the pinks, I almost can't not have pink in a painting, which I actually was finding myself having some laziness around. Like I would always have like a pink and blue, and I was like, ugh, stop doing pink and blue like all the time. Like I was like sick of it. So there's like things I get sick of. So I think it's just this like, I either like really just like the color palette, or I'm like, okay, I'm good with it. But I'm not that critical of other people's work. Don't worry. Like, I'm just like with my own, Yeah. Yeah, I actually would love to. I really like that idea of the abstracted human form, and I think I like the idea so much that I was afraid to do it, and had been putting it off for so long because I wanted to get it right, and I like wanted to make something that I loved in that. So I would love to do it more. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I usually will just pick out colors that I'm feeling drawn to and like set them aside from the whole collection, because that helps me feel more organized. So, and then I'll just do various like mixes of them with, like I mixed a lot with Van Dyke Brown or Burnt Umber with a bunch of the colors, just to kind of see what would happen with those. And so like with the blues, it was fun to like try to change the blue with the Burnt Umber or the Van Dyke Brown, and so I enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you.